Top of the morning to you. Hey, we're back. It's going to be a shorter video, I hope. I had a long day. I got to get up early in the morning, head out to work again. Just want to get right into it. Want to go off of some comments were made from last video about the trans portion of the video, which caught me off guard because I wasn't talking about any trans. To be clear, I'm the part that they were referring to and the part I'm referring to, they call it trans, I call it biological males in female sports. It has nothing to do with anybody who thinks that they're in the wrong body or anything. It has to do with a biological male in female sports. As I said before, I have two daughters that play softball, and actually, what started it all was the biological male playing on a female softball, I think high school team, and they won state. And Riley Gaines was just making a comment on that, which then Simone Biles replied to that with, saying that she was a sore loser and that maybe Riley Gaines should be going up against men because biological men, because she has such a manly body, which is interesting because then Simone Biles was saying in the tweet that there is difference between men and women. So I think it was a really bad choice for Simone Biles to what she wrote. And like I said, she even said that she had lost to the Thompson guy, but she actually tied. But anyway, which now that I think about it, there was also something interesting about that too. It is very rare nowadays because of how timing's done in swimming, how they tied. I think they go down to the 1,000th now, and it's very rare to get a tie in track or swimming. And it's just interesting that Riley Gaines ends up tying a biological male, and it makes it a bigger situation because then they wanted to ensure that the biological male was the one who got the trophy, because there was only one trophy, because you should have one first place. And it's just how things work themselves out, whether it's Trump turning his head before he got shot. You've got, in this situation, ties that never happen, and it happens to be a female against a biological male, a biological female against a biological male, and the one person that ties them is somebody who actually has the guts to fight for females throughout the world, to be honest with you. I mean, because you're dealing with the Olympics, so it's just interesting. If you have any type of religious or energy or astronomy, that's how things seem to work out sometimes. But anyway, so that was my feed on that. I think I even looked back on it, and there's no mention of any trans or anything. It's just the fact that you have a biological male, and biological males are different than females. Now that doesn't mean that, obviously, I mean, there's no way I'm going to, beat, some professional tennis player or, Venus Williams or Serena Williams, stuff like that. And that's just pick that. I'm not going to, because I don't play that game. But I think people understand the gist. You get a superior on both. Both the male and female are superior in a certain sport. Usually, there's a difference. There's another good argument out there, for instance, that's in shooting pistols, that there's a separation of male and females because females are better, and it's unfair. But I won't get into that. How about you look it up and you write write in the comments if you find anything about that. But yeah, it's unfair. The females are usually better shots, and that's why they separate them. Because you wouldn't think they're for marksmen and stuff like that they would have to separate, but they do, and mainly it's because women have an advantage, or sorry, female athletes have an advantage in shooting. So, but anyway, this is the Tez Mania Reacts channel. And here we'll be reacting, after I finish that up, we'll be reacting right now to this stuff that's going on with our attack in Iran. It's funny, Simone Biles thing was kind of a Mean Girls type thing too. And I'm just watching the different channels, the CNN, MSNBC, obviously Fox is on the other side, technically, they say. But it's, I got a couple of videos here, and it's just interesting. It's almost like CNN and MSNBC are like Mean Girls. They have to, you can't really give a win at all, even to degrade or make our troops look bad. Like, even to the point of just as long as Trump doesn't look good, they're going to oh well, of course we're not talking about the men and women, but we're just saying that maybe it didn't hit. Well, who do you think did the job? He gave the assignment out, and you got Pete Hegseth is gonna be up on one of the videos here, and I thought he said it extremely well on there, in front of the press. But it's just, that's exactly how it is. It's like you say that, but then you're just kicking the men and women of the military, of all the branches that was part of that operation, which was pretty freaking awesome. And then who's to say? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a great hit or whatever. I don't believe that, and I'll give you my side. But you just have have people here that just, no matter what, even if it's gonna hurt us, people would rather hear Trump do something bad than have it work out for the American people. I mean, even when I had presidents and I don't like, or even if Trump makes a decision I'm not happy with, I hope it works out. I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong and he's right and it works out, then that's better for us. Maybe I didn't see what he was doing, and then that could be for any president. But there's the first one's going to be that Bernie Sanders is at somewhere, and somebody announces that the Iran, that we hit Iran nuclear, and the people start booing. And he announced that it was successful, and they're booing. And I mean, I understand maybe they're thinking that, oh, it's going to be World War III and all that. But do you not want a successful hit? Do you want Iran to have nuclear weapons? No. I don't even want North Korea to have one. If we would have, back in the day, before they had the opportunity to get where they're at, I wouldn't want Iran to have. North Korea to have them either, but they do, so now we got to deal with it. So that's why Iran doesn't need to have it. But here we go. Let's get into it.
Me too, for a good thing.
I'm scared. Very successful attack.
Very successful attack.
Disgusting.
Good news! There is no more war, bitches.
Yeah, no kidding. It is no more war. Like, what are you talking about? It's silly. So,
this is the inside story of our direct attack on the Islamic regime in Iran over the weekend. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer, and it involved
So this is what it's Glenn Beck on here. This is exactly what happened. This is what we did.
About 125 U.S. aircraft, including multiple B-2 heavy bombers. We only have like 14 B-2 bombers. They are the best of the best, and we had about 12 of them up in the sky. Some of them were headed west towards Guam. We now know that this was misdirection. Everybody was paying attention to the bombers heading west. They were like, they just left Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. 7 B-2s, they're headed west, and they're going to Guam. We're going to bomb Japan. Everybody was paying attention to that. It was brilliant strategy because the others were flying east. Just before the B-2s began their bombing run, dozens of Tomahawk cruise missiles were fired from U.S. submarines. They targeted nuclear sites just a few minutes ahead of the bombers. They cleared the Iranian skies of enemy aircraft, although we didn't see any enemy aircraft. It was like their military didn't exist. The B-2s swept in, and they dropped these bunker busters. They're called MOPs. They are worth millions of dollars. They are about the size of, I think, an F-16. They're enormous, and they were made specifically for Fordo. They were designed for this run. For 15 years, they have been training for this very run. We built a replica of this nuclear plant underground. I have been told that this bunker buster is so accurate, it can hit the top of a soda can from 50,000 feet. We dropped the missiles, 14 of these bunker busters, all sites connected to Iran's nuclear program, presumed to be destroyed. If you look at the maps before and after, the satellite imagery, it looks like it's totally destroyed. But we have to have somebody down on the ground to actually verify, and I would imagine those are the Israelis that are doing that.
All right. So here's another example.
2 a.m. on June 21st, 6 B-2 bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. Everyone assumed that they were heading to strike Iran, but in reality, these were just decoys. 5 hours later, 7 B-2 bombers took off again, but this time heading east. Each B-2 carried two 30,000-pound GBU-57 bunker busters, requiring them to refuel frequently. They met with first aerial tankers over Michigan. Then, in the middle of the Atlantic, a final refueling took place off the coast of Turkey before entering the Iranian airspace. Escorted by F-22s and F-35s, 3 bombers headed for the Fordo nuclear facility, buried 330 feet underground, while the other 4 bombers targeted the Natanz nuclear facility. To ensure the full destruction of Iran's nuclear program, all 7 B-2s unloaded their full payload, 14 GBU-57s. At the same time, a U.S. submarine lurking in the North Arabian Sea unleashed a barrage of missiles, wiping out the Esfahan nuclear sites.
I believe they're Tomahawk missiles, which, look them up if you don't know what those are. They're pretty damn accurate.
In just 25 minutes, U.S. destroyed what took Iran 20 years to build. With their mission complete, the B-2s turned back, refueled along the same hidden path, and returned to Missouri, finishing a 37-hour non-stop strike that Iran never saw coming. Subscribe for more.
So, this next is going to be Pete Hetzek, or Hepsek, however you say his name. And I really like what he says, but before he says this, it blows me away, as I said. You talk about CNN and, I don't know, MSNBC. Well, and anybody out there, The View, Joy Reid, all these people, you're just like, okay, you don't like Trump, I got you. You got the Trump derangement syndrome, whatever. There's been a lot of people I've disliked and things like that, but it's like you're going against your own team if you're an American, I guess. But so what you just saw were two different sources, with obviously different knowledge, but the mission is known, and what's known of the mission was done so well. And as Glenn Beck said, they actually knew how this site is built somehow. They actually reconstructed it elsewhere, tested these bombs on there, That's what these bombs are made for. Okay? So I'm sure I know we don't know 100% for sure, I'm not going to bet the house or anything. But what we do know is that the mission was completed the way it was completed, as you heard both of them. There's no denying that. All that worked. All of that planning was precise and great. And then you're gonna sit here and tell me that the ending of what research of these bunker buster bombs and all that didn't work. It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense that it probably did work. The bomb dropping, the accuracy, they're known for their accuracy. Tomahawk missiles, sure, technology goes the same way with the bunker busters. So it would be more shocking to me that the installation wasn't hit. Now, as if it's totally demolished, who knows? But to tell me that it didn't do what it was supposed to do, or we didn't hit it really well, it would be more shocking to me if we didn't. Because you're gonna tell me everything worked up to that point, except the bunker busters didn't do what it was supposed to do. I doubt that. And then like I said, the way that he gave this answer, I don't know if he was asked a question or it was just a speech, but it's pretty good.
And I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done this story, how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible.
Agree.
And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans, and it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years, and no other presidents had the courage to actually do.
All right. Yeah, he's pretty much right on that one, I think. And it's crazy that there aren't really more people out there cheering it, especially if you were afraid when you first heard it, like maybe some of those people were, I still don't understand the booing, but afraid that it was going to start a war. It's been a few days since this has happened, and it looks like, hopefully this stuff holds and all that stuff. But I mean, it looks like they want to come to the table and have some type of peace talks. I mean, that their war's been going on for hundreds of years, but maybe we have a little slice of peace for a while. Now that Iran can't be as big of a bully as it used to. I know that term's been used, but they kind of were due to the fact that they were enriching uranium and stuff. So that's something that should be celebrated, as he said. I totally agree with that. Especially the way things are looking now. And like I said, I was looking at the oil. I don't know what it is today, but man, when you see the money, and it's doesn't look like it's that the investors throughout the world are concerned with having any oil issues or anything that affect and stock. The stock market's going no spikes, no jumps. While this is going on, you gotta know they know a lot. They got money. They got friends in low places and high places. So right now everything's looking good. Hopefully it stays that way. And it's interesting, he says that about Fox News, MSNBC. Well, this next thing here, you have, I think this just happened today. You got a good old sweet talking Obama out here, and listen to what he says right here.
And official approved facts.
Part of what we're going to have to do is to start experimenting with new forms of journalism and how do we use social media in ways that reaffirm facts, separate facts from opinion. We want diversity of opinion. We don't want diversity of fact. By the way, it will require some government, I believe, regulatory constraints around some of these business models.
Yeah, so this So this guy is telling us that we need to find a new way to have the government decide what facts are out there. Now I get it. I get what he's saying when you're saying diversity of thought, but we shouldn't have diversity of facts. It sounds great, but that's not what's going to happen. Whoever's in charge is going to decide what's factual and what's not on both sides. I mean, all you got to do is one thing I used to tell my kids when they were in school. I said I at least want three if there's a current event, I want you to go to at least three sources. That's how it would be. So ultimately, a lot of times it was maybe MSNBC. Well, talking in the new world of internet. So it was usually CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. They quickly understood the biases and where they were coming from. But the one story would be definitely coming from two different sides. And it started them doing their own research to say, okay, I got to read between the lines. The same story, they're saying it this way, they're saying it this way. Now you have more venues to go out and look with podcasts and things like that. So all of a sudden now you have President Obama saying that we need the government to go in and ensure. I mean, we already did for a while there. Wasn't Biden telling Facebook and Twitter and all them to take down certain stuff, whether it was dealing with the vaccine or Fauci or Hunter Biden Russia collusion. You know, they were government was already trying to limit and limit what was out there and let what they wanted to be facts to be released. I mean, with Elon buying X and then Joe Rogan situation when and he still does have all his followers, and especially I think it was CNN if I'm not mistaken, but with CNN trying to say taking horse dewormers and all that stuff, it was that right there. There's an example right there. They could say that Joe Rogan was taking horse dewormers, but yet you couldn't question the vaccine. And now look what's out there. Yeah, that's what we want there, Obama. Why don't you? I don't know why it just doesn't go away. Bush pretty much went away. Clintons are still out there, but that's because the wife was running. But yeah, it's real interesting. I mean, then you have, you got Joy Reid out there saying, she lost her show. I just saw her. She's saying that if you're gay, you can't serve in the United States military. I'm like, what are you talking about? If you're and they play it. It plays over and over again, and that is not true at all. I don't even think they don't even have Don't Ask, Don't Tell anymore. You can plainly be out if you want. You can serve proudly and be a gay individual. Shit, I don't care. They said I'm a karaoke hoe, man. I hang out with gay people all the time. Girls, boys, everybody. It doesn't bother me at all. I can have fun with anybody. It's crazy. Yeah, and nobody even questioned her on there. I mean, maybe I wouldn't either because it was such a silly thing to say that. No wonder why she doesn't have a show anymore, just because she could just say whatever she wanted to, and that wasn't necessarily free or not. I mean, you go back, man. I go back. I can't remember. I was trying to pull it up, but the way back in '63, I think it's '63, when Kennedy was shot, and they announced how it was, and the reporter says, like I said, I couldn't find it, but it literally says that he slumped forward when he was shot because it was they already had the suppository building or whatever it's called, that the book suppository where they thought Lee Harvey Oswald shot him from the 6th floor. However, if you've ever seen the video, his head goes back and to the left, like he got shot from the side. Now, I'm not even going to get into conspiracy theories and there's a second, third, or fourth shooter or anything, but I'm saying that nobody had that video. Nobody had that video, but whether the reporter that was reporting it himself or the piece of paper, whoever gave it to him, had him report it that way, people thought, no, without a doubt, he was shot from behind, whatever. However, I don't know. I'm never, not an expert at people getting shot in the head or how your body responds to a bullet. And you can see it's back and to the left. I mean, I think I did look it up. Hold on. Let's see. I think I did.
Only get.
Let's see. I was looking for it. But yeah, I mean, yes. But I mean, like I said, you watch it, you could find it for yourself on the thing or on YouTube as well. You guys can just look it up yourself. But his head does not go forward and forward. It goes back and to the left. Of course, you probably see it on JFK, the movie JFK with Kevin Costner, over and over again. I mean, you can clearly see it. And so Um, when you end up saying that, or Obama saying that you got facts, I mean, I understand that, like I said, just right now, you have Joy, what's his name? Joy Reid saying whatever she wants, total lie. I mean, the only way to keep it is keep it like an open forum, like a town square, and make it our responsibility to be able to hear whatever we need to hear. Don't regulate anything, because, like I said, I believe whoever's going to be in charge is going to be the person, or is going to be the ones that are getting that decide what facts are. Kind of like whoever's in charge also controls history. Let there's movies out there, and it actually did happen in real civilizations throughout history. But what was that movie? Stargate, was it? Kurt Russell. But when they went through the Stargate, whatever, alien movie stuff, or not alien, well, universe and stuff like that. Stargate, you go through different galaxies or portals throughout the universe or whatever. But they go to a place, kind of looks like maybe old time Egypt, because of pyramids and all that stuff. But ultimately, the people couldn't write. They weren't allowed to. The person that was in charge, and which was Ra, I believe. But I mean, ultimately, if you can't write anything down, then who's in control? Who's in control of history? You are, or the person that's in power, and they'll dictate how history goes. Current events, you'll know what's going on, but eventually you tell the same story over and over again, whether it's true or not. That ends up being facts. One of the songs that I reacted to was Buffalo Springfield, for what it's worth, and it's they say it's an anti-war song, but I kind of take a different look at it. But there's back in the '60s with the Vietnam and all that, there's they said there are a lot of protesters, and they hated the military, and they call them baby killers, and things like that. Well, in the song, there's this one little part where it goes, they're singing songs and they're carrying signs, mostly say "Hooray for our side." So it's like, yes, I did see where they were calling military people baby killers and things like that, and a lot of the protests look like a lot of negative things on there, but unless you were really there, and what that song was saying is pretty much different than what is typically reported on a lot of the protests that happened in DC during that time. And ultimately, the song is just pretty much saying, it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody, look what's going down. Kind of point that, that we needed to wake up and start asking questions, and not just taking what the government was given. Why not ask questions? Why, this is the last time the draft was used, which was in Vietnam, but they're taking brothers, sons, husbands. Should you not question the government when your son, brother, cousin, husband, boyfriend is being taken across the other side of the world to fight a war that no one really has any idea what we're doing? No, you should question it. I mean, look what's going on with Iran. I don't like the way that those people reacted to it, but should we not question? I mean, I like not having a nuclear Iran. I do. However, I still question. I want to make sure there's answers, and we get them out there. But I'm happy that it looks like everything's gone well so far. Could we be getting lied to? I mean, yeah, I guess. But there's a lot of sources out there, and there's difference when CNN and MSNBC are out there reporting bogus stuff, or there's really no concrete evidence. Like, you got to prove something to me, like, I'm still waiting to be proven that we actually did what we're supposed to do. I just think it makes sense that we probably did, just because the stuff that we are able to know, how the mission was taken out, how not one of our fighters were hit, everything went successful. That's great. But I was going to say that too. Also, the report that they're going off of, military is pretty much straightforward. Reports and stuff like that, usually black and white. Usually want to have a after action report, and I'm sure that happened pretty quick. But until they have actual evidence, the report's gonna have certain levels of, like, did we get accomplished what we needed to? Did we not? Well, if you don't have actual evidence, the after action report is not going to put any false. It's not going to say, "Yo, we probably did." It's because it's a military thing. It's going to go in the books, and it's going to be official. You're not going to, we probably did it. Bob. No, they're going to have to be confirmed. Of course, at that time, it's going to be classified, which is according to the leak. It was a top like a top secret thing or something like that. I don't know. They're saying. So obviously, somebody out there is leaking information they're not supposed to be leaking, so I think we need to find that person too. But so all of a sudden you're just going to jump on that story. Well, they're not saying they haven't any confirmation. Yeah, because it just happened. It's across the world. We don't have any boots on the ground. We don't have soldiers out there that are ours. Like I said, one of those said probably going to be Israelis that will go out and take a look at it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish it there. Hopefully I'll get some videos out this week. Maybe do some songs without the music, or I got to figure something out. I enjoy doing that, reminiscing some of those songs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, comment. You've reached Tasmania Reacts. Like I said, don't be shy. You can send any questions, email it to me like I did. But if you want to feel confident, just go ahead and put it on the. I know I guess you can get backlash or whatever, but I'll try to go through emails and stuff too. But yeah, if you want to put comments, I'll take a look at those too. Anyway, you guys take care. Be safe.